In the sprawling wilderness of the Crazy Mountains in Montana, where the jagged peaks kissed the sky and the pine forests stretched endlessly, two hunters, Jack and Mark, set out on an expedition into the heart of the untamed landscape. They were seasoned outdoorsmen, their faces weathered by years of sun and wind, their souls hardened by the challenges of the wild. Under the watchful gaze of the full moon, they embarked on their journey, their rifles slung over their shoulders and their spirits high with the promise of adventure. Little did they know that they were not alone in those vast, sprawling woods, that something ancient and malevolent prowled in the shadows, hungry for blood and vengeance. As they ventured deeper into the wilderness, the forest closed in around them, the towering trees casting long, eerie shadows that seemed to dance in the moonlight. The air was thick with the scent of pine and earth, and the only sounds were the crunch of their boots on the forest floor and the occasional call of a distant owl. It was then that they heard it, the unmistakable howl of a predator, echoing through the trees like a ghostly lament. Jack and Mark exchanged uneasy glances, their senses sharpened by the primal instinct to survive. They knew they were being hunted. With a silent nod, they pressed on, their movements swift and deliberate as they scanned their surroundings for any sign of danger. But the creature remained elusive, its presence felt only in the chill that hung in the air and the ominous rustle of leaves in the wind. As night fell and the moon rose higher in the sky, the forest grew darker, the shadows deepening into pools of impenetrable blackness. It was then that they caught their first glimpse of the beast, a massive, shadowy figure lurking just beyond the edge of the clearing, its eyes burning like twin embers in the darkness. Without hesitation, Jack and Mark raised their rifles, their fingers tightening around the triggers as they prepared to defend themselves against the encroaching threat. But before they could fire, the creature vanished into the night, leaving them alone once more with only the whispering of the wind for company. Determined to confront the menace head-on, they pressed deeper into the forest, their hearts pounding in their chests as they followed the trail of the elusive creature. But with each step they took, the forest seemed to grow darker, the shadows closing in around them like a suffocating shroud. Suddenly, a blood-curdling howl pierced the silence, echoing through the trees with a primal ferocity that sent shivers down their spines. Jack and Mark exchanged grim looks, their nerves frayed by the relentless pursuit of the unseen predator. Hours passed, and still they pressed on, their determination unyielding despite the growing sense of dread that gnawed at their insides. But as the night wore on and exhaustion threatened to overcome them, they knew they could not continue much longer. It was then that they stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight, the soft glow illuminating the landscape like a beacon of hope in the darkness. With weary smiles, they quickened their pace, their spirits buoyed by the promise of respite after hours of relentless pursuit. But as they neared the edge of the clearing, their hopes were dashed by the sight that greeted them, a massive, hulking figure standing silhouetted against the moonlit sky, its eyes gleaming with an unholy hunger that sent a chill down their spines. With a roar that shook the very earth beneath their feet, the creature lunged forth, its claws slashing through the air with deadly precision. Jack and Mark raised their rifles, their hands trembling with fear as they prepared to make their final stand against the relentless onslaught. But before they could fire, a blinding flash of movement caught their eye, a second creature, smaller and more agile than the first, leaping forth from the shadows with a ferocity that took their breath away. It was then that they realized with a sinking sense of horror that they were not facing one werewolf, but two. With no time to spare, they opened fire, their bullets tearing through the air with deadly accuracy as they fought tooth and nail to fend off the advancing horde. But the creatures were relentless, their movements fueled by an otherworldly strength that seemed to defy all reason. In the chaos that ensued, Jack and Mark fought with all the desperation of men facing their own mortality, their hearts pounding in their chests as they struggled to keep the encroaching darkness at bay. But as the minutes turned to hours and their ammunition dwindled, they knew that their time was running out. With a final, defiant roar, they charged forth, their rifles blazing as they made one last stand against the relentless tide of evil that threatened to consume them. But in the end, it was not enough. As dawn broke over the horizon, casting its golden light upon the battered landscape, Jack and Mark lay motionless on the forest floor, their bodies battered and broken by the ferocity of the battle that had raged throughout the night. And as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the trees, the creatures vanished into the shadows, leaving behind only the echoes of their savage fury as a haunting reminder of the price paid by those who dared to defy the darkness that lurked within the heart of the Crazy Mountains.